It's time for Peptide Talk, featuring Garrett Pope. Now, here is your host, Joe Zapata.
Guys, Joe Zapata here. Another week of Peptide Talk, where we talk about our peptides, peptide news, everything going on with training and bodybuilding. And I'm here with my host, Peptide King, Garrett Pope. What's up, Garrett?
What's up, man?
What's going on? Before we get started, if you guys can, like we do every week, go to equipfoods.com. Use promo code JerseyJZ and get 15% off your order. They have all the protein, creatine. They got protein coffee. They got it all. So go there, check out all the stuff. Go use promo code JerseyJZ and get 15% off your order. All right, Garrett. So we got a lot of things to talk about today. Let me just pull this right off here. Hold on. And one of the things I wanted to start off with is resistance training, as we age, because everyone's been asking me, about the peptides, using them as they get older. But as they get older, how should they train? Especially because as we get older, we have a lot of injuries. And it's for men or women, either or. So I have a question that came in, and this one I wanted you to talk first about. Is this guy came in and he said from Tommy H from Parsippany, New Jersey, and he's Garrett, I'm almost 60 years old. I have 2 replaced knees. I still try to get to the gym at least 3 times a week. I don't avoid leg training, but I can't do what I used to do. What would you suggest for training legs?
All right. I have 3 clients actually that have total knee replacements, both knees. 1 female, 2 male. So that's a great question. I can answer it based on exactly what I have them do. And the only limitation that I tell you, there are 2 limitations if you have knee replacements. One is nothing high impact. So you don't want to do any running, jogging, plyo jumping, anything that's going to be impact on the knee. Okay. Mm-hmm. Worst thing for you. Okay. That'll wear that new knee joint out in no time. Okay. Mm-hmm. So worst thing, any type of bouncing, high impact movements. You don't want to run on a treadmill. You want to ride the bike. You want to do the elliptical. You want to do non-impact movements. Okay. I wouldn't do the Stairmaster, to be honest with you, also because, again, that's impact. Okay. Anything that's impact. As far as the actual weight training goes, the only thing that I recommend not doing is heavy, deep squats.
Heavy, deep squats.
That's it. Mm-hmm. You can leg press. You can hack squat. You can pendulum squat. You can Bulgarian split squat. You can do it all. Okay. Mm-hmm. The only thing I wouldn't do is heavy, deep squats. You can still squat. Squatting is great for you. I just wouldn't load the bar up and try to go heavy with that anymore. I would keep it controlled. It's really funny. I don't know if you ever listened to it at all. It always pops up in my feed, and I listen to him a lot. You ever hear Kevin Nash's podcast? Sure.
Click this. Yes, I know Sean Oliver. Sean Oliver's a good guy.
And it's a great. I actually like it. It's pretty good. And they talk about everything. You know what I mean? It's not just, they talk about everything. And he was just saying himself how he never goes above a certain weight on a leg press. And he's had all kinds of issues, as we know. Yeah. But he never goes above a certain weight on the leg press for a certain amount of reps. And the other day, he went to the gym, and it was a Sunday afternoon. He was the only person really in there, and this and that. And for some reason, he decided to add an extra 90 pounds, which is 45 pounds on each side on the leg press that he normally does. And he thought about it afterwards, and he said to himself how stupid that was. What was that gaining at 67 years old? Where instead, he would have been smarter staying with the same weight he normally does, and instead of getting 12 reps, trying to get 14 or 16 reps. And when I heard him say that, I said, man, okay, for somebody who's not, specifically trained, he trains to keep, in shape. And that's a brilliant comment that he said, and it's 100% true. As you get older, instead of worrying about progressive overload, which is keep adding more weight, add another 5 pounds, add another 10 pounds, add another 20 pounds, keep adding reps. And what I mean by that is if you can get something 8 reps with a certain weight, instead of saying, all right, next time I'm going to add more weight and get it 8 reps with it. No, try to get that same weight next time 9 or 10 times. And then when you can do that, try to get that 11 or 12 times. And get that up to 15 times. And once you can nail that 15 times, now increase the weight. That's how you have to adjust it as you get older. Where when you're younger, you can keep increasing weight every time. It's a little different. You know what I mean? So I heard him say that comment the other day. I went, man, I said, that's actually a really, really a great comment that he made. And he said to himself, he goes, I stood up from the leg press. He goes, I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, you dummy. What are you thinking? He goes, he didn't get hurt or nothing, but he thought about it afterwards and said, what, the risk to the reward was too great. Yep. And, and honestly, I said, man, that's a really, really good comment. I said, and he looked at it himself and he realized himself, man, why'd I do that? Yep. He also is my spirit animal because he only drives about 3,000 miles a year. And so him and I get that too. He never leaves his house. He literally says, he goes, he's got a 2000 Mustang, and he just hit 20,000 miles on it. And I said, oh man, I understand that part. So, but anyway, but but as far as getting older training, as far as knee replacements go, you can do anything. You can do anything. Just do it within moderation. Don't get stupid with it. Don't try to keep on. I wouldn't go heavy leg presses. I wouldn't go heavy half squats. It's about range of motion. Try to go range of motion. Yep. Don't try to go heavy, and keep your reps a little bit higher, okay? Don't bounce out of the movement. You never want to do that, especially with knee. I wouldn't tell anybody to do that, but especially with knee replacements. If you're doing a leg press, come all the way down, pause there with your knees against your chest, and then drive up. Yep. Don't do the bounce out of the leg. You know what I'm saying?
100%. I have that same problem like Nash because I have my hips replaced, but I have like certain body parts and your body tricks you. My shoulders are very strong. I could push anything above my head, anything very strong. So I think mentally, okay, I'm time to do legs. I'm can do this really strong. Now I'm going to do this strong. Doesn't work that way. Your body's like, nope, sorry, you can't do it.
Exactly. And that's the thing. Like, I have to. I mentioned last week, I still go heavy on squats, and I have to reel myself in every once in a while because I'll do that and that set felt fine. That set felt fine. And keep that in waiting before I know it. I'll look at the bar. And like I said, I work myself still now up to 500 pounds on the squat for reps. And I'll stop sometimes and I do that exact same thing. And I go, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not, it's not for a specific goal. Why am I doing this? There's no benefit doing that than if I were to do 315 20 times.
Yep. 100%.
Do you see what I'm saying? I get more, it's so I even have to do that sometimes when I reel myself in also because, it's hard sometimes because also you think about like what you used to do and what, so what I try to do now is as you get older, increase the repetition, your form. Form has to be on. I mean, your form has to be spot on. If your form has any fault in it whatsoever, correct that first. Yep. And I tell everybody, don't worry about your weight, worry about your form. Okay. Yep. I'm going to be honest with you. Like I scream at my girlfriend all the time about form. Okay. And she trains at a gym that's, about 45 minutes from me. Okay. And, she lives down there that way. So, I tell her all the time, what I make her do is I send her video. She sends me videos and I review the videos of everything. And the number one thing is before you increase weight, is form. Your form has, and literally I'll pick apart every little thing. I'll pick apart things down to how you hold your hand on a dumbbell. Okay. And once you have that form down 1000%, then I give you the go ahead. Now start increasing weight. Now start doing, because you're doing the movement right.
Okay.
And I tell everybody as you get older, your form, man, as you get older, the whole idea is to continue to train, but to continue to train without injury. Because it's really easy to hurt yourself. Okay. It really is. So the idea is, do you want to train? I mean, me personally, and I know this sounds a little weird, my end goal would be someday in the middle of a squat, die. That would be how I would go. No. And I know that sounds
why?
I know that sounds weird, but what I mean is I don't want to die in my sleep. I don't want to die of cancer or a slow death in a hospital. I want to train to the point. What I'm trying to say by that is I'm trying to train to the point of whenever my day is, that's how I want to go out, saying that I trained to the very end.
Okay.
Not where you have some people that, oh man, I was able to train until I was 60 years old, and from 60 to 80, I couldn't do a thing. I don't want to live like that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I want to, look at Stallone.
Mhm.
You know, look, that's how I want to go out like that. You know what I mean? Not that Stallone's going out, but
Mhm.
you see what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
know?
The guy also asked a question too, and he said it made points at that age, doing some peptides and everything. But if you have a artificial part in your body, doing something like BPC 157 or something, does that help? Even if you have an artificial, knee or hip?
Yes, because BPC is naturally occurring in your body, so it will help, but
Okay.
it's not going to help the artificial joint.
Okay.
But it will help all the connective tissue, ligaments, tendons around it.
Okay.
So yes, I don't want people out there to think it's going to do anything for the artificial joint, but it will do for everything. Think about something. There's all connective tissue. There's all connected stuff around it.
Mm-hmm.
It will help that. So yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Another question about someone else said, Rob B from Bergenfield, New Jersey. And he said, Garrett, what type of chest exercise do you suggest to do to help with my sagging chest?
Okay. That's like a trick question type thing.
Okay.
People think if you hit, okay, I've heard so many things over the years. If you hit a lot of incline work, it'll lift your chest up and out. If you hit a lot of decline work, it'll shape your lower chest.
Yes.
And here's what I tell everybody. Hit the overall chest.
Okay.
Hit your whole chest. There is scientific studies that if you flat dumbbell press, you can put your body in a position to hit your upper pecs just as much as if you were on an incline press. Okay. Now, some people on an incline press, that might tear their shoulders apart. It's too much pressure on their shoulders. Then you have to adjust. Okay. I love, do you remember Vince Garanda?
Yes.
Okay. He invented something called Garanda dips. Okay. And it's a very awkward way of putting your arms and everything. And you put your hands in a certain position. That's how I dip. Okay. I've dipped like that. I can't tell you how long, my whole life. And that I love dips like that for chest. Okay. Love it. That tears my chest apart. Okay. I am a big fan of dips for chest. Okay. Huge fan of it. Yes, I'll do incline work. Yes, I'll do flat work. I do fly. You got to do everything, but not at all in one workout. Not in one workout. Again, on the aging part, one of the most important things is volume. You remember when we were younger, we'd be able to go to Gold's Gym, and seriously, okay, I'll tell you something right now. You're going to remember this. We used to do this routine, you and I, once a month for legs on a Thursday. And as soon as I say this, I know you're going to remember it. 10 sets of 20 on the leg extension, and then 5 sets of 15 on the hack squat.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And it would basically just go, we'd go like this. You go, I go, you go, I go. So
That's
you would
exactly
get up, I would get down. I would get up, you would get down. And we just kept boom, 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 like that. And the only rest we would get was while the other person was going. Okay. That's 15 sets for quads right there. If I were to do 15 sets for quads in a workout now, I probably wouldn't recover for 2 weeks. It's about volume control. Okay. Now I keep my volume very, very low. Okay. When I say very low, quads, for example, 5 to 7 total sets for the workout. I'm talking warm-up sets and then working sets. Okay. 5 to 7 hamstrings, 5 to 6 sets per workout. I don't do a lot of volume anymore. Okay. I keep my volume very, very low. Okay. Chest work, I do 6, maybe 7 sets per workout. Where in the past, we would do 6, 7 sets per movement, when we were younger. So it's about volume. I tell everybody as you get older, volume control. You can't do too much because you're not going to recover. And I don't care what you're on. I don't care what, you won't recover. Your body just won't. So that's another thing too, volume control. You got to control your volume. And if you're going to train, you can train any type of rep range that you want to train. Just don't overdo the sets.
Yep. Okay. As we get older too, you got to watch your whole body. But someone my age, my 50s and older, I train. I don't rest that long in between sets. I don't. That's just me. I don't rest in between that long. I work out with a couple people, and I say, okay, as soon as I'm done, you go, then I go. I do it very quickly. That's how I go. I don't like to rest. Do you recommend or think people should rest in between sets longer as they get older? What do you think for men or women?
I tell everybody this: rest for what you need.
Rest for what you need. Okay.
I don't try. There's some things out there. Oh, just take 30 seconds in between sets. And that might work for one person, but it might not work for another person. If you're 5'6" or 150 pounds, your ass better be moving quick between sets. If you're a bigger human, you're going to probably go a little slower between sets because more oxygen intake and all that.
Yep.
So I tell people rest for what you need. Now, what I mean by that is I don't mean powerlifting rest where you're sitting down for 5 minutes in between every set.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's not what I'm talking about. I'm
Yes.
talking,
And people do that.
listen, if you need 45 seconds, take 45 seconds. If you need a minute, take a minute. If you need 90 seconds, take 90 seconds. Whenever you're ready to do your next set that your body feels comfortable with.
Yeah.
Because everybody's different.
Yep. Everyone is different. Yes. And everyone has different muscle fibers in their body, correct? Everyone has different fibers, right? So some fibers are stronger than others. For me, my rule of thumb is I rest when I get my breath back and I'm ready to go. And I think I could push now again. That's how I rest, but I don't take long. I just go. And Greg Valentino does the same way. He does not rest long in between sets. He goes. And that's what you suggest also. Take as long as you think is good for you.
Take as long as you take. I like moving quick. Okay. I don't like, but that I can do that. I'm used to that. A lot of people, if you're not used to that, you're not going to be able to do that. So I tell everybody, you do what you need. Sometimes people try to, they'll ask me how much rest you take between sets. And I tell them, and then they try to use that and they go, I'm sucking wind the whole time. Then take more rest.
Okay.
It's more important you not try to keep the pace. Take the rest that you need. I used to train with a guy. It's been years now. Okay. It's been a little bit. Last time I trained with maybe like 4 or 5 years ago. And what I would do is for every 2 sets I did, he did 1 set.
Wow.
Because he couldn't keep up. So what I used to tell him was he would try to keep up and he would be gassed after, halfway into the workout. So what I finally told him was, listen, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go to this movement. I'm going to do 2 sets on this movement. You're only going to do 1 set on this movement. Then we move on to the next thing. And that's how we would do it. And he was totally comfortable with that because I would go, he would go, then I would go again. Then I would move on to the next movement, do the first set of the next movement, and then he would go. So he would be the same in the middle all the time. So he had every single one, my last set of the previous exercise, my first set of the next exercise to rest on.
Gotcha. Okay.
For him, that worked. For me, that would cool me down. I would be cooled down too quick.
Yeah, I cool down too real quick. As we get older, obviously, resistance training. And what do you think about going heavyweight as you get older for women? You think heavyweight for men as in their 60s? Should they go heavy? I mean, I know resistance training is important, but what do you think?
When you say heavy, okay, let me put it this way. You should go as heavy as you possibly can with perfect form.
Okay.
And when I say heavy, I'm talking you shouldn't be going below 6 to 8 reps at the least.
Okay.
When I say heavy, if you're doing 1 rep maxes, 2 reps, 3 reps, 50, 60, 70, no, that's ridiculous.
Okay.
Because all you're doing is working the ligaments and the tendons and everything anyway. So as you get older, you want it. You can go. I want you to go heavy. What I tell people is, you want to go ahead. I have something that I actually like, and I think it's real important as people get older. And another big believer in this is Rich Gaspari. Is eccentric movements, the negative. I use a 5-second negative on my movements. Okay. So what I will do is I will do 5-second negatives. It allows you to go heavier in weight also. Okay. Which you're not doing that many reps. You can't do that many reps when you go negatives. And then what I'll do is after I'll do, let's say, 1 or 2 warm-up sets with heavy negatives, real slow, 5-second eccentric. Then I'll drop the weight a little, and then I'll do a all-out working set of 12 to 15 reps.
Okay. Really good. That's really good.
So now I use a slow motion count even on my non-negatives. I'm going to say my non-negatives are still probably a 3 to 4 second negative. But on my true negatives, it's 5 seconds. Some people say to me, bro, that seems like a 6 or 7 second negative. I move real slow on my negatives, but I like that. I feel, especially as you get older, it allows you to control the weight. You can go heavy, so it stimulates your, oh, I'm going heavy, I'm using heavy weight, but without putting a shitload of tension on all the muscles and the ligaments and the tendons. Okay. Again, you want to go within reason. You don't want to get stupid going heavy. As you get older, don't think so much about adding weight to the bar all the time. Think about your form, think about your range of motion, and think about adding reps all the time. All the time. And think about, listen, there's different ways of doing things. Because you leg press last time with your feet shoulder width apart this way, there's nothing wrong with turning your toes out and taking a wider stance next time. And then fool around with your stances also. Use different stances. If you're dumbbell bench pressing, there's different ways to hold your hands. You can pronate your grip. You can supinate. There's different ways to do things.
Yep.
Mess around with it all. Mess around with it all. That's why I tell people, you want to go heavy, but I mean, put it this way: what I tell people is, don't take a weight that you can get 25 times and just keep on using it every single time. That's useless. Okay. Now, what I do is I have a habit of, like I said, I believe on delt work, especially rear delts, but on most delt work, I like going real high reps. That's the way I feel it. Okay, rather than going heavy on delt work. If I go heavy on delt work, I don't get the feel in the muscle. Okay, especially rear delts. And where I learned that from years and years ago, unfortunately, he's passed away now. And he's gotten more traction now than when he was alive. But do you remember John Meadows? He was known as Mountain Dog.
The Mountain Dog.
Okay.
Yes, I was going to say that.
Mountain Dog. A lot of people don't realize how smart that guy was when it came to training. That guy was brilliant. That guy knew a lot about training. And he wasn't flashy. He wasn't, a lot of people idolize Rich Piana. Okay. He was flashy. He was loud. He was boisterous. He was, John Meadows was the complete polar opposite. But he knew so much about training. And that's where I first picked up years and years and years ago, the high reps, especially for rear delts and high reps for it. And I use for my delts, 25 rep sets, 30 rep sets, 35 rep sets. But what I'll do is, for example, if I'm using a pair of 30-pound dumbbells and I can get 30 reps with it, well, you better be damn sure next time I'm going to be trying to use 35-pound dumbbells to get 30 reps with it. Do you see what I'm saying?
100%. 100%.
So that's how you go heavier, but you're not going stupid heavy.
Yep. All right. So also incorporating, as you're older, peptides and maybe some TRT is good for you think?
Absolutely. As you get older, yeah. I mean, they've proven now in men, low testosterone leads to more chronic issues and diseases and everything than anything else.
Yep, 100%.
So absolutely, yeah, TRT, all that, absolutely. But again, I try to tell people there's a difference between TRT and cycling. Okay, I have people literally tell me, "Yeah, I'm on TRT," and I go, "What are you using per week?" 400 milligrams. I go, "You ain't on TRT, brother. You're cycling." There's a big difference. That's not TRT.
Yep. And actually, I have a question that actually came in also that I'm going to ask you, that this is related to what we have. So Robert from Harrison, New Jersey, he said, Garrett, I've heard a couple of different perspectives on TRT and I wanted your opinion. They go, one approach suggests that TRT long-term with smaller frequent doses, such as daily injections, to maintain a stable hormone levels and consistent results. The other suggests taking a break from TRT for a month or periodically to allow your estrogen receptors to reset, with the belief that they will respond better once you come back. So where do you see, where do you think?
Well, if he's listened before, he knows I'm a big advocate of microdosing it daily. Okay. Now I have heard about taking a month off periodically to allow your androgen receptors to reset. But here's the issue I have with that. While that you can do that, okay, when you're on TRT, it's not like where you're younger, where you're cycling and your regular levels are going to bounce back and this and that. You're older, your levels aren't going to bounce back like that. Your androgen receptors aren't going to reset compared to where it was before.
Yep.
So in my opinion, no, you stay on it. You stay on it low dose. You don't want to upset your hormonal cycle.
Okay.
You don't want to throw your hormones into flux for a month.
Okay.
And then restart over scratch, because then what you're doing is, yeah, while your receptors might reset a bit, then the time it takes it for it to rebuild to where you were, you're really sacrificing like 2 months.
Okay.
Is it worth it as you're getting older? Well, I don't know. I mean, I could die tomorrow if I decide to reset my androgen receptors and then I die. That would suck. I'd rather die be going out, the way I want. You know what I'm trying to say to you?
Yep. 100%.
So, no, I wouldn't.
Okay.
I wouldn't do that.
Okay, well, that leads me into now this question here. Now, someone who likes to come off of TRT and take a month off and wait to receptors is Dave Palumbo. Now, I'm friends with Dave Palumbo. I know Dave, we are friends. We know each other. We text each other. But sometimes Dave Palumbo, he has a couple friends that watch our show, and one of them is John Scuderi. He actually commented on one of your, on our video saying about something you gave. So why don't you go into it and talk about how you feel towards that subject?
Okay. He made a comment off of last week's show when I specifically said about, hey, listen, if you're using gear, peptides, whatever, using anything to look good in a club, that's the wrong thing you should be doing. And the comment he made specifically was, how can you tell anyone not to use gear or peptides to look good in a club after work, but you can use them to impress a gay NPC judge that wants hotel favors? The first thing I'm going to start out with is, John, I don't know you. You've made comments a lot in the past. So all I'm going to say is, listen, bro, whatever happened with you and a gay NPC judge in a hotel somewhere, you can get therapy for, and I feel bad for you. But I'm not the one that touched you down there. The gay NPC judge was. Second of all, I assume John is around our age.
Yes.
If you're 21 years old and you made a comment on the board saying, I could use gear to look good in a club and this and that, I can understand you making that comment because you're 21 years old and that's all there is in the world to you right now, okay? When you're over a certain age, if you think it's okay to be on gear just so you can go looking good in a club after work, you've got your priorities mixed up.
Yeah.
Okay. Now the second thing is, he's making a off comment thing about gay judges and the NPC and this and that. Brother, your buddy Dave Palumbo, go talk to him about gay NPC judges and hotel favors. I don't know what your issue is. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But, with all due honesty, I've been doing this for a long, long time. There's a lot of people, this is my business. There's a lot of people that come to me for training, for peptides, for everything, okay? My business isn't snake catching or whatever the hell it is, okay? Snake charming or, the Pied Piper. I don't know what the hell you do with snakes. But my point is, John, you do what you're good at, which is, I guess, snake handling, and I'll do what I'm good at. And I'm going to be honest. I guarantee more people everyone is going to agree with me that if you're using steroids or gear or whatever just to go look good in a club, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
That's plain down fucking retarded.
Yep. And, a lot of people did that when they were 21 because that's what they did. But if my son came to me and said, and he's 21, my son, and if he said, hey, Joe, he said, Dad, I want to use steroids because I want to look good in them all. I'd be like, what are you doing, man? I said, that's stupid. Don't do that. Now, if you want to be an athlete and you have a scholarship and there's things going on, maybe, okay, we could talk maybe, even though I'm not crazy about it, but I do advocate for steroids and peptides at a certain age.
And there's a goal there for that,
correct.
Not to just go look good in a club. And that's the point I'm trying to make. If you're using it just for, if that's your goal, like, okay, what are you using things for? well, I go to the clubs on Friday and Saturday nights, and I want to look jacked in the tightest shirt I can wear.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Maybe if that was your attitude at 21 years old, I'd say, hey, man, good for you. You're going to grow out of that in a few years. Trust me.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But if you're older and you're thinking that's still okay, you know, and I made a comment on the board too, and I said, so let me guess, I'm also wrong for telling 16-year-olds not to use stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, and with all due honesty, I know John is a major mark or shill for Dave, okay? I know that. And the honest truth is, hold on a minute. Is Dave using stuff so he can go to a club and look good? How about somebody goes on air and asks Dave that same question? I'll bet you 10-1 Dave says also, if that's your only goal, to use performance enhancers to look good in the club, I wouldn't recommend that.
No.
I bet you Dave says the same thing.
Yeah. And Dave gets these questions too on his Ask Dave show. They asked him the same questions you asked, answer the same way pretty much what Dave answers. But I don't know. John, I guess, has a thing for you. I don't know. He just kind of always, and I'm like, John, dude, what's the problem here?
I don't get it. But and again, I could be wrong. He brought up he dropped the gay word yesterday,
mm-hmm.
and maybe he heard me talking about months ago about my former trading partner that was a gay porn star that I didn't know was.
Mm-hmm.
John, listen, I just want to let you know, I'm not gay. So if you're trying to listen, I appreciate it. I'm flattered, but if I was gay, I'd go for more like a Roman Reigns type. Okay, just saying. Anyway.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So we're actually going to wrap up this episode with that unsaid, and we will actually be here next week. Garrett, where can they find you on Instagram?
Pope Training, all one word. Pope Training, Instagram.
Pope Training on Instagram. All right. All right, man. I will see you next week.
See you next week.
You got it, my man.
Bye.
Started from nothing. Jersey streets, we owned it. Jay-Z pumping iron.